Driving smart, not fast, a global energy efficiency imperative in an era defined by energy volatility, climate pressure, and supply chain fragility. Efficiency is no longer a personal choice, it is a strategic necessity, one of the simplest yet most overlooked interventions lies in how we drive. Reducing average driving speed from 120 km per hour to 100 km per hour may appear insignificant at an individual level. However, from a systems perspective, this shift delivers measurable benefits across fuel consumption, emissions, safety, and macroeconomic stability. The physics behind efficiency relationship between speed and fuel consumption is not linear, it is exponential. At higher speeds, aerodynamic drag increases exponentially proportional to velocity squared. Engines operate outside optimal efficiency. Bands braking energy losses increase significantly. This explains why driving at 120 km per hour generates approximately 45 to 50% more kinetic energy. Fuel consumption rises disproportionately beyond 90 to 100 km historically. This principle has guided policy decisions. During the 1973 oil crisis, the United States imposed a national speed limit of 55 miles per hour, approximately equals 88 kilometers per hour, reducing fuel consumption by an estimated 2–3% nationwide, a significant saving at scale. Fuel savings, a global perspective. Modern transport studies, IA, EU mobility research, and OEM engine performance data consistently show 10 to 25% fuel savings when reducing highway speeds from 120 km per hour to approximately 100 km. Optimal fuel efficiency for most passenger vehicles lies between 80 to 100 km per hour. Scale. This translates into lower national fuel demand, reduced dependency on import, stabilized foreign exchange exposure for energy importing economies, carbon footprint, and climate impact. Transportation contributes nearly 24% of global CO emissions. International Energy Agency. Speed reduction directly impacts emissions. Approximately 15 to 25% reduction in CO emissions per vehicle or NOx and particulate emissions critical for urban air quality, reduce strain on ozone layer recovery. By limiting precursor pollutants, this matters globally, supports Paris Agreement targets, aligns with net zero pathways, reduces urban heat and smog formation, even marginal behavioral shifts when scaled across millions of vehicles produce gigaton level emission reductions over time. Safety and system efficiency. Higher speed does not just increase fuel consumption, it amplifies systemic risk. Stopping distances increase by up to 40 to 50%. Accident severity rises exponentially with speed. Traffic flow becomes unstable, leading to congestion waves. Countries like Sweden Vision Zero policy and Netherlands have demonstrated that moderated speeds improve both safety and traffic throughput. Supply chain and economic impact. From a supply chain lens, driving behavior directly influences energy logistics. 1. Demand smoothing. Lower fuel consumption reduces volatility in demand patterns. Sees press sure on refineries, storage, and distribution networks. 2. Import optimization. For energy importing nations, even a 5 to 10% demand reduction can significantly reduce import bills, improves trade balance and currency stability. 3. Inventory and infrastructure efficiency. Lower throughput stress on pipelines, terminals, and depots. Improve planning accuracy in product movement plans. PMP. Environmental externalities beyond co-driving smart contributes to broader ecological protection, reduced ozone depleting. P. Precursor emissions. Lower fuel combustion equals less ground level ozone formation, reduced oil demand, limits upstream extraction pressure, protecting ecosystems. Additionally, less frequent refueling cycles reduce evaporation losses. VOC emissions. Lower traffic intensity reduces noise pollution and urban stress. Time versus efficiency. The real trade-off and of the most common objections is time. However, the actual difference is marginal over a 300 to 400 kilometers journey. The time saved by driving at 120 km per hour versus 100 km per hour is often 20 to 35 minutes. This comes at the cost of 20% higher fuel consumption. Accident risk. Higher environmental impact. From an operations standpoint, this is a low return trade-off with high external cost. A scalable global solution. If applied globally, millions of barrels of oil demand can be reduced daily, billions of dollars in fuel costs. can be saved annual as a gift and progress can be made toward climate commit Memphis is not a technology-driven solution. It is a behavioral optimization strategy with immediate ROI. Strategic recommendations for governments: introduce optimal speed policies on highways, incentivize fuel-efficient driving through awareness campaigns, integrate speed efficiency into climate strategies. For industry, logistics companies to enforce fuel-efficient driving, SOPs fleet telematics to monitor and optimize speed behavior, align KPIs with fuel efficiency. Not just delivery time for individuals, maintain steady speeds between 80 to 100 kilometers, avoid aggressive acceleration and braking, treat fuel as a strategic resource, not a consumably ending future of energy. Sustainability will not depend solely on renewables or technology, it will also depend on how intelligently we use existing resources. Driving at 100 kilometers per hour instead of 120 kilometers per hour is a small decision, but at scale, it becomes an economically valid climate action. A supply chain stabilizer efficiency is not about slowing down progress, it is about optimizing it.